Welcome back to SSB. I'm with my bros Jesse and DB, talking about spirit, soul, and body, glorifying God. But I'm not a rapper though. Welcome, guys, to another episode. Just, something different.
My soul.
Did I hear?
You hurt my soul by rap.
Jesse, your ears are a little red.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't like the sound of that?
I didn't like the sound of that.
Probably
His
not.
ears are red. I'm not making this up.
Bright red right now.
He didn't like the sound of that.
The sound that I just heard come out your mouth, just my soul. I think the Holy Spirit left.
That's good. I like it. It was different.
It was different, right?
Yeah, for sure. You switched it up.
My, in high school, DJ D Let's. DJ Let's, so.
You don't even know your own rapper name, man.
I know.
That's crazy. Mine was Jewish Jesse.
But thank you really so much. You done?
I'm done. Okay. I'm done. Go ahead. Intro us in. Go ahead.
Awesome. Guys, thank you guys for being here, for tuning in to another amazing episode. I want to be very transparent and vulnerable that this topic is going to be heavy. It's going to be uncomfortable. Fair warning to the listeners. It's not going to be easy because it's a topic that's been put underneath the rug for too long. And we're going to be honest. We're going to be real. We're going to share from our hearts, not for our sake, but to help you. What are we going to discuss? Well, we're going to talk about lust and love, talk about pornography, OnlyFans, the culture around us that creates just a distortion of what purity should look like. And I just wanted to ask you, kind of as we intro this heavy hitting topic, why is it difficult to talk about? Like, what is it about sexual immorality, about lust, porn, that it's like people just don't want to talk about? What do you guys think?
Bro, that is such a deep topic.
Yeah.
I mean,
get straight to it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's because
Get to it.
Yeah, I mean, let's go to it.
Let's go,
Jackson. Then hi, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Coming out to the light. Not really. But I think that it's such a heavy topic because of the fact that it is in the dark. A lot of things are done in the dark. And there's such a heavy emphasis on just sexual morality as a whole in scripture.
Yeah.
And so whenever I think about scripture, is one of the biggest things that many you can kind of see in God's sacrifices and idols and all these different things. A lot of it had to do with sexual immorality. But even aside from that, it's just everything is constantly swept under the rug. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why it's such a heavy topic, because nobody really talks about it as much. And the people that talk about it, it's just them because nobody else wants to continue that conversation. You know what I mean? Some people that I think about that are absolutely amazing. John Bevere. John Bevere is so open and about pornography. He's not for pornography, but he talks about a lot about and against pornography, and even throws out some statistics there, which I believe I actually had a couple statistics, but something from John Bevere said that amongst church-going Christians, so this isn't just specifically or generally people all over. This is the church. We are talking about people, the body of Christ. We are talking about that specific people. Amongst church-going Christians, 2/3 of men, half of pastors, and nearly 1/3 of women struggle with porn on a monthly basis. This struggle, this doesn't just affect those who struggle, it affects spouses, children, friends, and more. When one part of the body is sick, the rest suffers with it. That means that all of us, whether it's a personal struggle or not, need to take it serious and address it head on. This is coming from John Bevere, and many of you have probably heard from him, but there's so much to talk about with this topic. But isn't that a staggering thing to think about? 2/3 of men, half of pastors are dealing with pornography, like that blows my mind. And like women deal with that too. So I just think that this is like a really good topic to start talking about, because this is like something that I believe has been put like in darkness, and the way to overcome is to put it in the light, you know?
And our goal, and then I'll segue to you, Dan, our goal was to talk about this, even though it is very uncomfortable, even though it's not like something like, hey, yes, we're talking about this, we're talking about porn and lust, and no, this is to bring to the light a topic, a situation, situations that has been not just put underneath the rug, but have just been ignored.
Yeah.
Like, not because, a lot of reasons why. And I just want to provide this quick stat too, which, as you think about this, it's very, very heavy. So this was a study done, and this is actually from them. So in 2019, Pornhub reported 42 billion visits. Wow. Averaging 100 million visits per day. Like, billion with a B. To think about that, how many people consume something that is not life-giving, something that's not going to make you better. Like, people that watch porn, they're not afterwards, man, I can't wait until I change the world. Right? Like you're not saying that. No, just being honest, right? You're not saying those things. I can't wait until like I'm a better person today. No, you feel ashamed and guilty.
But can I tell you why? To answer your initial question, why people are ashamed? Why is it so hard for people to talk about? I want to preference everything that I'm about to say by saying, this platform, part of the reason why this platform was created was to create a vulnerable space, right? Within that vulnerable space, we want to be authentic. We want to be real with each other. We want to share our stories and efforts to tie in a relation to you guys. We want you guys to feel like you're a part of us, and we have to be real, and we have to share our stories. We have to be vulnerable. I think part of the reason why people struggle with this conversation is because there's so much shame and guilt behind it. We have to come into a sense that this statistic that you mentioned is staggering. It's crazy. Right. So a lot of us deal with it that more than we're willing to mention or acknowledge, but we have so much shame and guilt behind it because you said it's done in the dark, right? No one's supposed to know. So there's a certain level of friction. There's a few things in this world that, or I'll say in this country, that's just hard to speak on, right? Right. Religion to some people, politics, right? Finances, sexual immorality. Right. These things oftentimes are taboo. We try to act like they don't exist. We try to act like people can't relate or people don't go through them, right? So if we can come into a space like this and share our stories, share what we struggle with, share our shortcomings, because at the end of the day, we all fall short, right? We can tie in a correlation to someone who may be dealing with the same thing. That is why it's so hard for people to discuss this topic, because it's not easy. It's dark. It's a dark topic, and it's vulnerable, right? And you're open. Right. So it takes a lot of that within that shame and guilt. It takes a lot of strength to open up and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. And then a lot of times you'll find that, boom, what you may struggle with, someone may have already overcome, so they can lead you in a direction where you can improve. That's where the freedom starts. And that's where the freeness of exposing yourself, being vulnerable, results in growth.
Yeah. But let's even think about the fact that culturally it's become so normal, bro. Like so normal. It's all over the place when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to it's no longer Pornhub, you know. It's OnlyFans, which is like that's still porn. So you know what I mean?
On
like
that topic, let me read you some statistics
Come with
that I found.
He came with it. Go ahead.
I came with a hammer, man.
He came with it. I like it.
Let's go.
Be prepared. So this is in regards to OnlyFans. OnlyFans made an estimated $5.6 billion in revenue in 2022.
That's more than where I work.
Listen,
God, and I work for a global.
Go ahead. Let it
OnlyFans now boasts, and this is again the way that they phrased it, more than 220 million registered users as of 2023, up from 120 million in 2021. Another one, as of 2023, the platform has over 2 million creators.
Wow.
and many are earning substantial income.
That's crazy.
So as a business guy, right, you guys know me as, Money E, right? Entrepreneur. This is not just a fight on like our mind and attention. This is money.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so why do you think they put it underneath the rug? Because hey, money, cash is coming in.
Yeah.
Right. And they say sex sells. So you see it all over commercials.
100.
You see it all over social media, right?
Yeah.
You see, because it is a money hungry thing attached to it.
100%.
Right. But along those lines, along that interest, there's an addiction attached to it.
Oh yeah.
So people are developing these addictions through what they say sex sells. And in America, quite frankly, like this is a evil society that's driven on income, money,
Yeah.
right? And what you're willing to do to increase your income or establish income, it's all free fall.
Yeah.
So it's like we have a lot of people who not only are willing to expose themselves for a desirable living, we have people who are becoming addicted, and it is hurting them personally, mentally, because they are falling into this trap. For some people, it would be a trap of this is what sells.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
That's true, man. And the industry itself is so evil, guys. Like this, when you think about like, yes, it gives like whatever temporary satisfaction, and it gives temporary pleasure, like right then and there. What is happening behind the scenes is so demonic and evil, guys. Like you don't realize that. Like it's so evil. Like I have a person that I knew, like kind of somewhat of a friend, but like I met that person and they were on OnlyFans, like not gonna, point like anyone out, but like they were on OnlyFans, they were making lots of money and they saw like lots and lots of money coming from that and like the benefits behind it. But what happened behind the scenes was just like so evil and it was hurtful, and like that industry is so disgusting and vile. And like when that person got out of OnlyFans, they looked at it and they're just like, man, like there's so many broken people, so many broken women that are hurting from this, that come from broken homes, come from broken situations.
Yeah.
And like, mind you, like that person who was doing OnlyFans came from the church. And was a pastor's kid, like all these crazy things. And she has such an amazing testimony, her and her husband now. But like, it's crazy to see, like when you see what's happening on the other side of that industry, like sex trafficking and like so much like kidnapping and like just evil, vile things that are happening. You don't realize what's the fruit of all of this. And that's what really matters, is like you look at the fruit and you're like, man, like forget temporary satisfaction. That's the seed I'm sowing. That's the seed that I'm sowing, is going into that. And it's a hard thing to swallow, because I'm sure all of us can kind of start talking about like our own situations as men.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's everywhere. It's thrown at you, bro. Like everywhere you go, it's thrown at you.
You're not even trying.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It's okay. It's one thing intentionally. You go, to the restroom. You're typing things in, you're looking it up. But a lot of times it's commercials. It's when you're scrolling on social media, and let's say you follow decent people, sometimes those sponsored ads or someone else's story post. So now you're creating this cycle of, here's something that God created, supposed to be beautiful, supposed to be modest, which we have lost modesty in this world. And now it's being thrown away for clicks, for likes, for money.
Yep.
And so it's like, what do you do in that situation where you got millions of dollars coming in? And think about it this way, from a business mind perspective, right? Just if, let's say I was a person who just cared just about money. If I'm making millions of dollars a month as a content creator for OnlyFans, whatever, and then you're telling me, oh, do something else. Okay, I'll do it, but you're making $5,000 a month. So you're telling me people are gonna drop it?
Yeah, dude, that's difficult.
It's hard. It's because
But your soul's missing. That's why. And spheres of influence, and part of that sphere of influence is Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say that people are willing to sell their souls. Yeah. They're willing to sell themselves for a buck or two.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing. Like people are willing to sacrifice their life, their family, their
Yeah.
personal morals
Yeah.
Bro,
to
true.
withstand to obtain a financial lifestyle that they desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are certain things. The spheres of influence are certain things that people are triggered either to go and pursue or to run from. And say, all right, this is something that's triggered me. I'm going to either pursue it or I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would view, being sexual immorality and understanding how it sells is like it's an attraction that this world sees and it sells. So people like it.
Yeah.
So how can you withstand from that? How can you discipline yourself in order to continue your narrow path in developing yourself and not being triggered by these things?
Yeah, even to like continue the business part of things. I'm reminded of, I don't remember what the guy's podcast was, but he was actually talking to like another OnlyFans person. She was making money and she was making great money, but she also said that she like believed in Jesus, which was kind of
Interesting. Yeah.
okay.
Contradiction.
It was a little contradicting, of course, but like, people go through a lot of different things. Obviously, like firsthand, you judge like, oh, how does this person love Jesus? And I get that, like it's, they're sinning like blatantly, but at the same time, like to look at the person's hurt, because as that person was like talking about Jesus to her, she literally broke down crying. I'll never forget this. She literally was breaking down crying. She's like, I literally can't leave this.
Wow.
Like, I can't. Like, there's no way I can get out of this. Like, as much as I want to try, like, first off, the money, like, I can't leave that. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm providing for my family right now. I'm providing for all these different things. And this is, like, my only hope. Like, and what that guy said was so real. He said, like, dude, you're not defined by what you do.
Yeah.
Like, the moment you attach your identity to Jesus, that's who defines you.
Yeah.
His life defines who you are now.
Yeah. And I think when you place your identity in certain influences, that is very much so manipulative. So in other words, if I am manipulated by a sphere of influence that causes financial increase, right, then you've expressed to yourself and to the world that you show no level of modesty to who you are and your moral values.
Yeah.
So if I am modest enough to understand that, hey, this might be a financial gain that might set me up for life.
Right.
Yep.
Right. But also I understand that in that self, I'm going to lose myself. I'm going to have mental stress.
Yeah.
And from the outside, I'm going to look like I'm thriving. But on the inside, I'm hurt. Right.
Yeah.
I'm broke. If you can understand, like, I'll be modest to the fact that I don't care if this is going to set me up for financial success. Right. I'm going to stand on my moral principles, my moral values, despite what people may think or say about the viewpoint of that. So I think that's important to understand is the spheres of influence are very much manipulative, and it's going to be so manipulative that everyone looks like they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, based off based off the statistics, like you're selling. Like, you know what I mean? I want to emphasize that the
Bro, yeah.
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, it's selling.
The stats
But,
are wild.
You know?
I also think it's not just, again, from a money standpoint, great. But like you said, you're losing yourself. I'll give you a stat.
Oh my God, bro.
Listen,
this man's
let's
just
go.
hammering us with these stats, dude.
He with the stuff.
Chill out.
Listen, I can't help it.
But businessman coming up
So,
with
for
stats.
example, impact, right? This impacts not just your own self, because you're performing an act that it's going. The Bible talks about this. There's another verse. It says, it talks about how right here, flee from 1 Corinthians 6:18, verse 20, flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside the body. But whoever sins sexually sins against their own body.
Yep.
And then it continues on. It says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? We are temples.
That is deep.
We need to make sure that inside of our temple we bring in purity and love. And it's a process. I'm not saying that.
That's right. So within that, can I mention that? Because
Please.
some people think that there are certain sins that are bigger than the other. There are sins that are sins, like sins are sins, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at what cost is your sin going to impact you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So we understand based off that verse that if you sin against your body, your temple, right, that is going to cause mental destruction, right? It could cause physical destruction, right? Sexually transmitted diseases and all that stuff is real. Like, so to what cost is that sin, right? To what cost is that sin going to hurt you personally?
Yeah.
Right. So that's something to keep in mind too. Like at the end of the day, sin is sin. There's no sin that's bigger than others. But to what cost is that sin going to impact you?
Well,
is what you have to keep in mind when it comes to
yeah. And sin is sin to God.
Yes.
Sin is not just sin to us because it affects us in different ways. And that's something I've learned over life because like I was literally on that same track of like, okay, God, like sin is just like sin to you, no matter how big, how great, how wide, how small, whatever, like Jesus is going to heal me and set me free from those things, right? Like nothing is too big or too small for him, for his grace and his love and his mercy towards us. But sin is not sin all across the board to us.
Yeah.
Like sexual morality
affects
us and impacts us differently. Lying, guilt, or gossiping and these different things, like it affects us over time. Little white lies are like, okay, you're going to compare a little white lie to like sleeping with like 30 to 50 women in like in a time span of like a few months, you know what I mean? I've heard stories like that.
So it's the consequence of sin.
Yeah,
It's different.
the consequences.
I think that's one way to think about it.
But that's one of the reason why I point that out is that's one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
In terms of how it's going to impact your personal growth.
Yeah.
That when you know that there's a lot of things was done in the dark must come to light.
Yeah.
Right. And it may come into light in ways that you don't realize. You lack in confidence. Somebody sees that and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Right? You lack in confidence, right? You can't articulate yourself in a sense that you used to be able to, right? You feel a certain sense of guilt or shame within you, right? Like that can get carved out in the sense where that's impacting you.
Yeah.
Your mental space is not fluent, right? It's all over the place, right? Because you feel this sense of shame. But sexual immorality, right? Like that's a huge sin that impacts not just the action, but the consequences of that action and what all that entails is going to be very, very impactful in your growth.
Yeah, and like 56 of divorces involve.
Here goes another.
There's another statistic. I like it. I like this trend.
But the thing is,
No,
like,
okay, go ahead.
right,
I'm just playing.
You need a.
No, it provides substance.
It does.
Like what we're talking about.
Reality check.
Because like a lot of times, because we've thrown this out the window and never look at it, it's in the dark. Once you start revealing actually what is happening, you're like, oh. So the purpose of the stats is to just provide context, but also clarity. Like, hey, here's actually what it does.
And we're just three people who are sharing our experiences. So the stats include other people's experiences as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a large number of people who are going through similar experiences so that it can create a sense of, I wouldn't say comfortableness, but like a sense of openness and honesty, modesty to say, hey, I can bring to the table my same issue as well. We can, we can grow from it. So that's important. I mean, statistics is providing the substance to say, hey, like you're not alone.
Bro, keep firing.
Listen, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So this one is the impact on relationships, right?
Okay.
It can impact you, but also it can impact others. So 56% of divorces involve one party having an obsessive interest in pornographic websites.
Wow, that's over half, bro. It's over half. Wow,
So,
bro.
like, think of it. Let's say
crazy work.
You're gonna get married. Don't think your problem is going away. It's gonna intensify probably.
That's true.
Because you have expectation from your wife. Hey, she needs to.
Let me ask you that. So in regards to marriage and that staggering statistic, 56%. So is that in an instance where a relationship is gone or you divorce the relationship based off lust? And is the more so the love kind of faded from that? Like you marry somebody, I would hope you marry somebody out of love, purity, right? But in a sense that you get a divorce, that 56%, is that all lust? Is it established from lust?
Well, here's the thing. like whenever you're transitioning from dating to relationship, or like you're getting into a relationship in general, you really have to see, like, are you healed from those things? Or are you trying to see that relationship as the healing? Because again, like, yes, that other person will provide in a lot of areas, but your expectations are so inflated because pornography is a fantasy. It is not, bro. What you see on a screen,
right,
like, is not really real life. Like, it's so elevated, and then you have these expectations about things that are like in the relationship itself that maybe your wife, like, or your husband or whoever cannot, like, cannot provide. You know what I mean? And like, I'm sorry, but it's a joke. It's a fantasy, like everything that you see there. And so like there's effects to it. Even when you were saying like the consequences of it in some sense, like how like you're feeling shame and guilt and all these things, but like you're ultimately giving yourself up for these things just to have like temporary satisfaction, but the consequences are lifelong, bro. Like lifelong. Like even when it comes to like pleasuring yourself, bro, like with men, like in masturbation, like
it's a big thing.
There's literally like there's such an there, and nobody wants to talk about this too. Like no guy wants to talk about this, but this is like a true thing that like masturbation is trying to gain some type of satisfaction for now until you get the real thing. But man, it's such a lie. Pornography is such a lie. Masturbation is such a lie because it's trying to fill something up that's not actually the real thing. You're just getting like a facade of it or some fake like synthetic thing. You know what I mean?
And the devil tries very difficult to keep people in bed before marriage, but after they're married, the devil tries to keep them out of bed.
Oh yeah. Anything outside of God's will, that's what he's trying to do.
What do you think? Why do you think you see this from a young? I mean, there's probably another statistic.
Keep them coming.
Yeah, right here. Okay, studies suggest that the average age of first exposure to pornography is 11 years old, with 93 of boys and 62 of girls exposed during adolescence. So I wanted to pivot a little bit and kind of provide to the people maybe like a little bit of our testimony and like our experiences, because just because we're in front of the camera doesn't mean that, hey, we're perfect, we never dealt with it, we're just like these amazing pedestal examples. Like, no, we've struggled. And if you, Dan, maybe you want to share, kind of begin, and then we'll go around just for the people.
Yeah, so I think that statistic is very real. First of all, 93% of males exposed to pornography, explicit content from age 11, right? I don't know if it was
before puberty, bro. Before
puberty, right? Like just the exposure to certain things. And I think that's why it's important to develop a strong household and develop good developmental strategies for kids to grow and know what's right and what's wrong, so that they're not influenced by people who are not important to them. Right.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes it tricky when the people who are important to you provide that level of influence that's not good.
Ooh,
right. And you take that and you run with it, and you start to become, you learn from those bad influences, and it can hurt you down the line.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that before middle school, like age 11, 12, right, like exposed to pornography was through somebody that was that was older and that was influential to me. Right. And at that point, right, like you don't know what you're being exposed to, but you realize that this is different. Right.
Yeah.
So as humans, like we're sinful, right? Like it took through that experience to middle school, high school, to get through a situation that was very, very, very vulnerable.
Yeah.
It was very, very bad. It was dark. Right. And it allowed me to grow, and it allowed me to learn from that experience and kind of just develop my own sense of self-worth and self-vulnerability to grow. I think that's important when it comes to the journey, because at times you can be triggered and you can relapse, you can fall. Right there, that's a very real thing. But the age of exposure is where the problem lies. I think that age of 11 and 12, where you are exposed to it through somebody that you are influenced by.
Yeah.
That is where the damage is started.
Yeah.
And I think that is where it is hard to find a sense of, is this right or is this wrong? Because I see somebody that I'm influenced doing,
Yeah.
that I'm influenced by doing it.
Yeah.
So that's hard to navigate through. It takes a lot of strength, you know, and I think that strength comes in phases, right? In moments where you feel like you are struggling, right? How can I make sure I don't relapse? What can I do? And we're going to talk about this a little bit. What can I do to put myself in positions where I am not triggered or relapse?
Yeah.
Right?
Because there are triggers.
Because there are triggers 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and in the culture that we live in, like, and things that we're exposed to, like, there's ongoing things that can set you back.
Right.
Right. And I've dealt with setbacks. I've dealt with relapses. Right. But going through that experience, and I think this conversation is important, is that we talk about it. Right. So from 11th through high school, through summer college, like, pornography is something that I had to grow through and get through. And I think that once I got through it, it allowed me to be confident in every space that I walked into.
Yeah.
Right. And it allowed me to become more aware of myself and my mental capability.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, just the exposure piece is important. And then also talking about it allows yourself to free yourself through the healing. That's what was something that I was able to grow from.
Jesse, do you want to kind of maybe share part of your story and with the people?
No.
You want to hide it? That's fine.
Yeah. No. I want to say, because you said that it was from like an influential person for you, right? For me, it was a friend that was literally like, you know, we were close. It was, I don't even remember what the age was, but I was really young. I was probably like 11 or 12 years old, which is just like, it's crazy. Yeah. And it all started with him saying like, hey, like, look at what my cousin showed me. Wow. Like, bro, isn't this cool? Like, I'm a kid, I'm dumb, I don't know like much, but it started with that. It was served on a plate that looked like it was okay, you know? And that's sometimes how we get exposed to it. It's a thing where it's like, oh, it's okay to look at this. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. But man, one thing after another, and it just keeps like picking at you to the point where like you don't even realize who you were back then anymore. And it got to a point where it was like that for me at a young age. And the only thing that got me out of it is one, like actually like giving my life to the Lord when I was like 15 years old. Yeah. And then another aspect is accountability. Right. Like that's huge. Accountability. Like that's huge. That's what's helped me, because you're talking about relapses as well. Yes, there were times where it's like, you're gonna get tempted, bro. It's gonna be there, like just thrown in your face, but it's about what you do with that. Like, one thing that I want to say is temptation is not sin. You being tempted isn't sin. Right. And I want to kind of take that guilt off of some guys. I want to take that guilt off of some people, some women. Is like, when you're tempted, you're not sinning when you're tempted. It's what you do with that temptation that causes you to sin or causes you to turn away. And so like for me, when I was in that situation, multiple situations, like I needed to have that accountability, and I needed to be extreme. There are plenty of situations in scripture where we have to have, like, we can't be too extreme on some sides. We have to use wisdom. We have to, like, you know, pull from one place and say, like, maybe I need to see the other side too to get a full understanding. But the one thing that Jesus is extreme about is sin. Yeah. That is the one thing that Jesus is super extreme about. He says that if your left hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. Like, it's better for you to go into heaven with one eye missing or one hand missing or one leg missing than for your whole body to be in hell, rotting in hell. And that is so true and so real. So like for me, the extremity side of things, like whenever those things do come up, temptation comes, I'm extreme about those things. Like Instagram, I saw a lot of things being thrown at me, and I kept trying to slip and fall into those things. And I said, no, I have to cut it off. Bro, I don't even watch like regular movies anymore because like
You can't.
I can't anymore. There's so many things being thrown at you. So for me personally, I'm just like, I need to be extreme. I don't even like have Prime Video or Netflix on my phone because I'm like, I don't even want to be tempted about those things. So you have to be extreme, man.
And that's not a sign of weakness. I don't
know.
People think that by having boundaries, you, like, oh, you're less than if you have those boundaries or restrictions, or hey, I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a wussy if you know, why don't you have, well,
Yeah, man. That's
like,
tough.
again, like, who cares? Like, honestly, if
man.
you know, for
Like,
me,
Yeah.
for anyone, just like,
Bro, in high school, bro, I remember in high school, man, going back to those days, man, but football was such a joy for me, and I excelled at it, thankfully, by the grace of God. Like, I was able to excel.
So
I'm just being
humble,
honest.
bro.
Look,
Very
I
humble.
excelled, but
I excel. I was pretty good by the grace of God. But
in high school, I excelled at it. But within that, though, like, that's a certain level of attraction that people draw onto, right? Like, and for whatever reason, I was one of the quietest person that was talked about the most, or was one of the people who was joked on the most, like, yo. And I honestly felt that football was my girlfriend. Like, that was the thing that I was committed to, dedicated to. But when you get jokes, right, of,
so what kind of jokes can I'm just interested.
right, football is your girlfriend, or you don't got any, like, you not get, like, so the ideology of temptation and influence could either destruct you or grow you. Like, I was getting jokes about how I didn't have any girlfriends, or I wasn't, quite frankly, wasn't too interested in girlfriends.
Yeah.
But that was joked upon, right? Like, it was joked upon because of, what I was committed to. So I was able to, kind of withstand like my morals and become not sexually immoral to my circumstances and the environment around me, because that starts early.
It does.
Like, people start that influence of, this is cool, this is what it should look like. You got to have this. If you're not getting this, you gay, or any type of offensive word, that can kind of distract you or discourage you, from your walk, right? So that's important. It's important to know yourself within that journey.
Yeah, and this topic for me, it's close to me because this is probably one of the biggest things I have struggled with. I'll be quite honest with you and to the listener. From a very young age, I think probably 7, 8 years old, is when my first exposure was to like masturbation and pastornaggraphy. And then from there, it was a life of bondage. Even though I was going to church, even though I was a pastor's kid, I was struggling with this. And it was difficult because what hidden sin does, it multiplies. So now I'm not just doing this, I'm doing other things, I'm being disobedient. It's impacting all of my other areas in life. And where my freedom came was at 15, the youth camp Jesse and I attended. That was my like moment where God just said, like, this is your time. Make a decision. Don't 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And after that moment, that's where my freedom came. And then I was a lot more strict to like having boundaries and accountability. But what really sustained me wasn't the fact that I got free. What sustained me was God's word. Is being around people that are keep me accountable, that push me to be better. And from 15 until early college, I've had relapses, right? And there's moments where I was amazing, like years will go by and you think you're healed, and it's that free, you are. Boom. That one little image on Instagram.
Trigger.
Yeah.
The trigger, then another one. Now what happens is I am so spiritually weak, my flesh is strong. And so now I have no way to fight the temptations, like you said, Jesse, because I don't fill up my spirit. So I think where most people struggle with is when God meets them, and let's say at a youth camp, maybe at a church service, maybe like an environment like this where you're open and honest, like the next steps is like you gotta make sure you're filling yourself up, but creating those boundaries. And honestly, that's where for me, where you have to be radical. Like, you don't allow your eyes to dictate your future, because most people don't understand. Let's say a scenario, right? And I've had situations of temptations of like with females, and I'm thankful to God that I had the Holy Spirit. Like it was like a punch in the gut, like Elijah, if you continue this, I cannot protect you. Even though God is a loving God, he cannot protect you if you're not within his boundaries. And so there's a couple situations where had I pursued and I went through it, I easily could have fell. And then from there, you get a girl pregnant. Now what? Your whole life changes.
Bro,
So
life changes.
like you have to think about and again, this is a heavy topic, but you have to think about that. Like think about, it's not just about you now. Now you're impacting someone else's daughter if you're a male, someone else's son if you're a female. Or in your case, you're degrading your own self for self-pleasure in order to get it. And I'm just realizing, man, the freedom that God brings through continuous sanctification, continuous. And an analogy that I kind of want to show you guys.
Oh, you came with a piece of paper. I'm scared now.
Yeah, so, no, this is real. So, if you think about like sex, right? And I think that's the next topic we're going to get into now. I just wanted to kind of demonstrate that God created sex within the correct boundaries, right? And so let's say this is me in my own, and I want to create my own boundaries, right? So I'm creating as like, okay, this is good enough. Now, as soon as you add the flame, right, which is, let's say, sex, now what happens is it's going to spread to the boundaries. And you think, oh, it's not bad. It's not hurting me.
You got it.
And then, but then again, I'll just put it there. Sorry, guys, for the
I
smoke.
don't want the fire alarm to go off.
It won't.
Still at my mama's house,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
But now, when it comes to sex in the boundaries of God, imagine this represents marriage. What God intended it to be. You're good, Jesse.
Just the smell of it.
Yeah. But let's say this represents marriage, right? Now, when you add fire to it, when two people come together, on my finger.
Tilt it a little bit.
Yeah, Martin.
Don't burn yourself.
I know. Fire.
Don't burn yourself making boundaries. Hey.
But now what happens is there is a sweet aroma that happens when it's in the boundary of marriage. And so we want this quick because we feel like we created our own story. But little do we know that's what causes wildfire.
Wow.
Right? And so we need to make sure that we prepare ourselves, our vessel. We prepare to protect ourselves for that significant other. Because now this sweet aroma, not is it only impacting me, it's impacting others. And you are enjoying what you see. And so I'll put this right here. The sweet aroma, right?
It's a good smelling candle, I have to say.
So I wanted to talk about that a little bit when it comes to like boundaries and, you know, when it comes to like sex in general. Like people have this negative understanding that, oh, sex is evil. No, God made sex, but there has to be boundaries, right? There has to be a place where it's utilized. But now with the industry, with pornography, with OnlyFans, with Pornhub, you're not creating those boundaries. So let's talk about boundaries and kind of about a little bit more about sex and what Scripture says. So.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to create boundaries for sure. Like the boundaries are found within Scripture, but there's you guys know who Craig Groeschel is?
Yeah. Craig
Groeschel, love that guy. My goal is to have this dude on the podcast, Craig Groeschel. If you ever watch this, please, 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 we might email you at some point so you can come on this podcast. This is your invitation if you ever see this. Amazing pastor, amazing. And he actually came out with this book called Winning the War in Your Mind, I believe it's called that. But it's talking about habits, right?
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily just talking about sexual immorality, but specifically like on this topic, you can address this with sexual morality and pornography and all these different things. He said habits are like ruts. You know what a rut is? Mm-hmm. So ruts are like with a four-wheeler. Let's say that you're out in the grass, you start making donuts with that four-wheeler, but you continue in that same cycle, and it makes a deeper and deeper and deeper hole. And when you create that deeper hole, it's a lot harder to get out of that specific rut. And so that's what creating a habit is. And unfortunately, like when we step into sin, when we step into sexual morality, it's literally like creating that rut. It's literally just continuing to make a cycle that's hard to get out of. But the way to get out of that is not just by yourself. You need help to get out of that rut. We're full of examples and explanations today, but that's similar. Like literally getting out of that rut is you need help from somebody else, from other people, accountability to get out of that rut. And what you need to do is not just get out of that rut and, oh, I'm free. What happens after that? No, you need to replace it. That's what happens. You need to replace that habit, that thing that what you once did, you need to replace it with something else. Yeah. And so instead of you just got out of that rut now, no, you need to create another one to stay, but a good one, one like that you can have habits where if you have triggers, if you have certain things, like you go to that specific thing to find peace and freedom, not sexual morality, not pornography. You need to go to God. God is your coping mechanism. Right. You know, like that's their coping mechanism. It's like whenever I even saw this, like, what's the guy's name? There's another really good book. Atomic Habits. Oh yeah, James. Oh my gosh, James Clear
from Columbus.
I think all of us read the book, right?
A couple times.
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple times.
James Clear is awesome. He talks about habits again, but in his point of view is like you have to create a new habit to replace the other one. You can't just get rid of that habit and then expect nothing else. Yeah. You're going to go back to the same habit. But when you go into that habit, like he says things like if there's certain triggers, like start doing, for instance, if you're tempted to go into pornography, start doing push-ups. If you, for some reason, like start falling into this thing where you're starting to feel like lust and all these different things, put your phone down, go for a walk. Like, and the more you do these things, it's going to start replacing that, and you're no longer want to do this. You're no longer going to want to do the same thing as before. Whenever you're tempted, because temptations are going to happen. 100%. They're going to happen no matter what. But it's about what you do with that temptation. And if you begin to create good ruts, if you begin to create good habits, like those things won't take hold of you anymore, because freedom comes from creating other habits too. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So that's good. I think that we have to be mindful of what sexual immorality looks like as far as relationships, right? It's not necessarily just sex. Yeah. Right? Like we point to that as an extremist, but like you mentioned, like developing good habits, right? Like, but if I'm playing house with somebody, right, and we not, you know what I'm saying? We not together for real. Like we not married.
Did that sixth grade?
That, that also is in the lines of sexual immorality, is like you're not following these steps, right? And it puts you in a disalignment when it comes to marriage, right? Relationship, right? At the end of the day, I think we all know what's physically attractive to us. Yeah. Right? So, within that physical attraction is how can you get to learn somebody beyond that, right? So if I know that I'm interested in developing a relationship with somebody based off their physical attraction initially, right? If I learn how she operates emotionally, right, then I might not be so much physically, sexually attracted to her if I base my values off of that. I think that when it comes to sexual immorality, we have to know how to put ourselves in positions where we won't be tempted, right? We won't be triggered, right? And part of that is dating somebody. When you talk about relationships, dating somebody with the intent of getting to know them from the inside and then outside. You know, and I think that can lead yourself to a healthy relationship that doesn't involve around being sexual immoral.
And we have to be realistic. If right now, let's say you are dating someone and you're going to their place, let's say their apartment, what you're doing is You didn't sin yet.
It's a real thing.
You're putting yourself in a position to sin.
Getting more comfortable.
More comfortable. So now it doesn't matter how strong of a Christian you are. People think that, oh, I've been in church all my life. Oh, I know every scripture. You put yourself in that situation, you're bound to sin. You're bound to fall. And so again, don't think, oh, I'm strong. Trust me. When it comes to sex, it does.
But when it comes to anything that
or anything,
that tempts you, anytime you put yourself in a position to be even more tempted, to be even more triggered, like you have a less chance of getting through that.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I know that I'm a diabetic, right, and all I got is candy in the house, right?
You're going to keep eating?
You know, you're going to keep eating candy. You know that I'm
actually going to die.
Right, like it's extreme, but like, you know, you go die. So, you know, to that extremeness though, like I just won't have candy in the house. I can't eat anything artificial sugar. Like there's certain things that I can establish in my life that doesn't align with what can tempt me. Or if I just know I got to stay off of social media in general.
That's what it takes.
You know, but and part of that process of being extreme can be having a conversation. Some people think the conversation is so hard, you know, but if you open up, that's extreme to some people. I got to open up.
Yeah,
like,
I gotta tell someone.
I gotta tell somebody. Like, I'm embarrassed, right?
Yeah,
but
and it's hard. It is hard. Like we gotta make it for what it is. Like it is increasingly difficult. But the reason it's increasingly difficult is because of pride. Because we don't want to admit the things that we've gone through.
Yeah.
But the devil works in darkness. That's exactly what he wants you to do, man. That's exactly what he wants you to do. He wants you to sit in your darkness. He wants you to sit and tell nobody and say, I'm going to heal by myself.
Yeah.
That is a dark place because then the devil can easily tap into that and try to tempt you more. And the more you don't tell people about it, the more guilt you're going to have to the point where you're not going to want to tell absolutely anybody about your issues. And scripture's pretty clear. What's in the darkness, whatever in the darkness will come to the light.
Yeah.
And bro, you even see that, like, that's a whole nother topic, but you see that with pastors now, like you're seeing that with a lot of religious people that are being exposed for sexual immorality. And the reason they went that far is because they never hit it head on. They never actually touched on it to a point where they threw it in the darkness and it kept in the darkness, and then boom, you got exposed. You had an affair. You are like, you've been through so many, I was gonna say Diddy parties, bro. I'm not even gonna get into that. But like you get what I'm saying. Like it's real, man. It is so real because you just kept it in the darkness. So like if there's any practical thing, like don't allow the enemy to keep you in the darkness. Don't allow that. Like the way that you defeat the enemy is by bringing things to the light. And that is true. And
it starts here. We have become strong enough to open up and have a conversation. The people who are most important to you, I think it should start with a conversation. You know, people that you don't feel or you're going to be judged by. Start with a conversation. When you can be vulnerable to them, it'll give you a sense of relief and less shame, less guilt, to maybe find out that they're dealing with something similar.
Bro, you'll be
surprised a lot of times when you open up about something, they can relate in some sort of way. Or they may have experienced the very same thing just in the past or presently. So it starts with the conversation. And I think that this platform, as I mentioned, is for conversations like this. If we become strong enough to open up to the people who are going to view this, we can develop a platform for people to share their experiences as well. And overcome what may be addictions, what may be things that trigger them, what may be things that are tempting them to get past being sexual and immoral.
And to those, let's say you're listening to this and maybe you haven't done, the best job in keeping your purity, let's say before marriage, or maybe you have dealt with pornography, like myself and all of us. Understand that God is a healer. God has the ability to bring healing to your life, to bring freedom to your life. Don't think that this is something that is impossible to God. He's able to do it. I'm telling you, he's done it for me. He's done it for Jesse. He's done it for Dan, and he can do it for you. So just be encouraged that, listen, just because you're struggling with this, number one, you're not alone. Trust me, there's millions of people that are struggling with this.
The statistics say.
Yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie. But know that, as Dan mentioned, that we are here to love, to support, but also just to provide that platform, just to listen and be like, hey, you know, so comment, DM us. Like, we want to hear your story. If you're struggling with this, if you just need extra prayer, and then get connected with people that you can trust and talk about it and, you know, work through it.
Yeah, that's so true, man. That's so true.
Man, this was probably the heaviest topic we've discussed.
It's heavy.
With the bomb.
It's heavy, but it starts here.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about this kind of stuff. And it was due time where we'd eventually, like,
of course,
get into these type of topics, and like we want you guys to also like be a part of this conversation and make you feel not alone, because like we said before, there's so many more people that are dealing with that issue than you think.
Yeah.
Look at the statistics. It's true and it's real. And we want to be here not to expose and say like, oh, you're doing a horrible job or this and that. But literally what he's saying, like, there is freedom in accountability. There's freedom in bringing things to the light. Yeah. And like, if there is somebody that you want to talk to, I'm going to be honest, like, let's open ourselves up right now. If for any men specifically, like, if you want to DM us, please DM us. Say that you're struggling, whatever. DM us personally. Talk to us personally. We want to talk with you through it if you're dealing with that. And we want to like hold each other accountable, because like this is how we get freedom. This is how we gain freedom.
Yeah, so it's good. Gentlemen, I appreciate both of you for sharing, for opening up. And know that there's hope. Know that God has not forgotten about you. Mm-hmm. And that you will overcome this, right? With God's help. And so please just, and I know it's not easy to share this, but if you know someone, if you think this helped you out, you know, share it with someone, like, subscribe, any other topics, comments. Like I said, we want to be that outlet for you, even if you don't have an outlet at your home. So, gentlemen, until next time, peace.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Bye.
SSB out.